Make a habit of empathy, to recognize ourselves in each other.
My name is Inbal Kashtan. I'm one of the co-founders of BayNVC. I'm a trainer with the Center for Nonviolent Communication, and I lead our leadership program. It's actually such a beautiful word and with a beautiful meaning for me. It's very central to the work that we do and what we're hoping to bring out to the world. The way that I see it, empathy is very connected to nonviolence. When I use the term nonviolence, I'm talking about Gandhi's definition, as I understand it, of ahimsa, which is what nonviolence is translated from. And the way I understand it, it's the quality of open-heartedness where we have no enemy. Most of us are not walking around thinking that we have enemies, but we are walking around with judgments and demands of people and struggling to keep our hearts open to everyone, particularly when people have different ideas about how they want to go about their lives from our own. And it's sometimes even in closer relationships, we have a harder time really seeing the other person's point of view and really connecting with where they're coming from. And so the way that I see nonviolence is really developing this quality of being able to recognize the humanity of every person. And that's the essence of empathy for me. Once I see that they're a human being with their feelings and their needs, and they're just doing their best to try to live their lives and to get their needs met, then my heart opens. And it's the quality that I'm looking for everybody in the world to have. It ranges quite, it's a very broad range, I would say, because empathy can be just a small and simple experience of understanding, but it can also be an almost earth-shaking experience of opening my heart where I didn't expect to open my heart, or seeing the beauty of another human being where I was previously experiencing judgments. So there is sometimes a visceral sensation, warmth, achiness. In fact, a lot of times it's almost, it has a poignant quality, an intensity in my chest that's almost like a heartbreak. Maybe what I would say is it's bliss, because it is deeply moving experience to have my heart open where it was challenged. I'm really speaking about empathy in the face of a challenge, which is a little bit different from the empathy we might experience regularly in our lives in relation to other people's experience where it's not related to us. The experience that's most exciting to me is actually to be able to experience empathy in the face of a challenge that's directed at us. That's, I think, where I would say is most exciting. It's a thrill. It's almost like bliss to experience that. Well, I see two directions of benefit to empathy. One is that it supports other people. It helps other people experience the human need for empathy, for care, for mattering, for knowing that we're understood. Those are such powerful human needs. And so when I'm able to experience it, I'm actually contributing and offering an experience to another person. So, and I really like that, and I see that as a benefit both in interpersonal relationships, but also in social change contexts where people experiencing that they're received empathically can really transform a violent situation into a situation of potential peace and connection. And so the ramifications go all the way to all the political situations I can think of. And at the same time, another avenue that I see as really powerful and a huge benefit of empathy is what it does to me. Me being able to experience empathy is a gift to myself, not just to the people around me, because it helps me have the quality of open-heartedness that I long for and that I value, a state of much greater peacefulness within myself. And so I'm getting to live in line with my values, which is a great gift. There's so many, but one that comes to mind very poignantly for me is actually with my son. He went through a period, I already knew about empathy, and I already was practicing the principles of nonviolent communication specifically as they relate to empathy, have to do with really trying to get curious and to want to understand another person's feelings and needs. And so I already knew about that, but in moments that are particularly challenging, that's the most challenging time in which to do it. And I remember this one particular moment. It was in the context where my son was just having a challenging time. He was around 3, and he was expressing himself with tremendous amount of intensity, sometimes even hitting, and that's one of the hardest things for me. And so it was very difficult for me to always stay fully open-hearted and fully empathetic. And what I remember is coming up with this phrase that was helpful to me, which was, "This is a human being in pain. This is just a human being in pain." If he could figure out a different way to express himself, he would. And in fact, he will. I know that this will pass, and he will. And just that idea, this is a human being in pain, was incredibly heart-opening to me. It's like it shifted from my pain and focusing on what it was triggering in me to really recognizing that he was needing support, he was needing connection, he was needing my empathy.